There would be some like OECD, for instance. Of course, in principle and traditionally, it should be a UN. The politics should not play a big role. We just have to help it be more effective. That's all.
That leads to a question that I wanted to ask you, which is which international organizations are leading the charge regarding global S&T policies? Which ones are most well equipped to do good S&T policies?
I'll say when it comes to the ones that have a tradition and resources and the best equipped in terms of expert resource, in terms of funding, in terms of even willingness to work together, would be some like OECD, for instance. The OECD, of course, is not a global. It's I don't know if you consider it exclusive or not, but definitely has a lot of members. But obviously, the more upper level of development is the OECD, but they definitely have the means, the experience, and the will actually to help a lot in the global S&T policy. Of course, in principle and traditionally, it should be a UN. Like, for example, the social committee, which I still cannot remember the full name actually. Remit is actually to deal with grand social challenges, and they have a membership that covers the whole world. So in that sense, it's the UN system. It's the plenary in New York, is the Geneva, the Committee on Science and Technology for Development. These are the ones that have the appropriate membership and the appropriate structures, if you like, in principle, of course, because they're not functioning very well. They don't work as it should work, but they're there. You know, they have the membership. They have their plenaries, they have the representation from every country, and they have even the official remit, the official, let's say, aim to do science and technology policy. So I think it's kind of obvious we have to stick with a UN system. We just have to help it be more effective, that's all.
What's missing, like, in your opinion, what's missing that will make the system work? What's the ideal situation for you?
It's political will, as simple as that. And this is something which cannot be solved. So geopolitics are also played, of course, I would say, in the UN system, as we know. It's an obvious thing, and that's okay in a way, because if you see the UN as a kind of, let's say, the big global parliament or something like that, of course, the parliament is a place where in a let's say in a democratic system, you have different parties which they basically, you know, sometimes scream and shout at each other, and they undermine each other in order to promote their own agenda. So why should the UN be different? But still, and if we see it as a means not only to promote our own, let's say, national agenda, but also to promote the common the resolutions to the common problems as it should be, then I believe there should be a kind of more neutral, let's say, view of science and technology within the UN system. So there, the politics should not play a big role. So it should be left to, let's say, technocrats to run it. As simple as that. I mean, the WHO, for instance, it was meant to be like that, and it did work like that. But still, politics even came into this, as you know, recently. But I still think that the WHO is a kind of a place where it's a technocratic place that has done good work and could do much better work once they get the resources to do that, because they still lack a lot of resources.